Hey everyone, today we'll be taking a look at a wireless gaming mouse from ASUS, the ROG Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint. Now this mouse can be considered the successor of the original ROG Gladius 3 wireless, where it sports several upgrades over its predecessor, such as a new 36000 dpi ROG aimpoint optical sensor and so on. We'll take a look at the specs of this mouse, unbox it, and have a go at gaming with this mouse to see how the usage experience is like. Let's get started. In terms of its packaging, this being a product from the Republic of Gamers lineup, the box has the usual red and black colorway that has come to be associated with the ROG brand and feels well constructed enough to give a good first impression. On a side note, if you're new to the ALK Tech channel, do consider subscribing so as to keep up to date with the latest developments in the PC hardware world. With that, let's get on with it. Here it is, the ROG Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint. We'll set it aside for the moment so that we can see what accessories ASUS has included with it. First up, we have a 2-meter long USB Type-A male to USB Type-C male ROG paracord cable. Now it's made of a nice and soft fabric material and it's pretty light as well. We also get a USB dongle adapter right here, which has the ROG logo embossed into it. Now you'll notice it has a USB Type-A port on one end and a USB Type-C port on the other, and this adapter is meant to allow users to place the wireless dongle as close as possible to the mouse. A great quality of life feature is this clip attachment that allows you to secure it to the edge of a mousepad, which I'll demonstrate later during the hands-on for this mouse. Moving on, let's check out what's included inside this paper envelope. First up, we get a set of spare mouse feet, and this is accompanied by a warranty card. In addition to this, we also get a user manual right here. And this is accompanied by a sheet of grip tapes with ROG motifs, and a sheet of ROG stickers. In addition to these, we get this small paper envelope, which opening it up, we see that it contains a switch removal tool and a spare pair of mouse switches. All in all, quite a fair bit of accessories included with the mouse, I must say. With that, onto the mouse itself. Right, so first impressions, it's light enough for my purposes alright, but definitely not the lightest wireless gaming mouse out there, where it weighs in at 79 grams. That said, it feels pretty sturdily built with no discernible squeaks and rattles of any sort. In terms of physical specs, this mouse has the dimensions that you see on the screen, and like its predecessor, the non-aimpoint version of the Gladius 3 wireless, the mouse has the same asymmetrical shape meant for right-handers only, with 6 programmable buttons. Do note that it also comes in 2 colors, either black or white. You'll notice too that on both the left and right sides of the mouse, it comes with grooves for added grip. The action of the left and right mouse buttons feel pretty decent, and we get minimal sideways play as you can see. In addition, there seems to be minimal post-click travel as well. Moving on, the scroll wheel feels great to use with distinct scroll steps, and it has a rubberized texture for better grip. Right beneath the scroll wheel is a programmable button that is preset to allow end users to toggle between DPI settings on the fly, and on the left side of the mouse we get 2 programmable side buttons that protrude sufficiently for ease of use. Aesthetics wise, it's finished predominantly in matte plastic with minimal glossy bits, which I'm not complaining about lest the mouse becomes a fingerprint magnet. RGB junkies will be pleased to note that the aimpoint comes with an illuminated ROG logo near the palm rest area like so. And right off the bat, you have the ability to select from 5 preset lighting effects as per this screenshot from the user manual. These 5 lighting effects correspond to the 5 user profiles that can be customized and saved onto the onboard memory of the mouse, where you can save, for instance, custom DPI and RGB settings for different users via the Armoury Crate app. Toggling between these 5 profiles is a simple affair, where all you've got to do is simply press this profile button found on the bottom of the mouse. Moving over to the front of the mouse, you'll spot a USB Type-C port which is used to charge the mouse via the included ROG paracord cable right here. You can also use this mouse as a wired mouse while charging it up, which is convenient for sure. As for the bottom of the Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint, we get 100% PTFE plastic feet, a connection mode switch that allows you to toggle between the connection modes that this mouse supports, namely Bluetooth, 2.4 GHz RF mode, as well as wired connection with the included ROG paracord. Below the connection mode switch is a pairing button that is to be used when connecting the mouse to your PC via Bluetooth. And further down, the profile button that I spoke about earlier, which allows users to change between 5 customizable mouse user profiles on the fly. We also get a storage recess right here that is used to store the USB Type-A wireless dongle of the mouse. Onto some tech highlights of this mouse. The ROG Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint comes with an industry-leading 36,000 dpi aimpoint optical sensor and 3 connectivity modes as mentioned earlier. Now the 2.4 GHz RF connection mode utilizes ASUS's SpeedNova ultra low latency technology, which should make for a lag-free gaming experience. It also has an advertised battery life with the lighting effect switch off of up to 119 hours on the 2.4 GHz wireless connection mode and a battery life of up to 143 hours on Bluetooth connection mode. The mouse uses ASUS's ROG micro switches that have a 70 million click lifespan, and it also has the push-fit switch socket 2 feature that makes it easy for end users to swap out the included switches for third-party 3-pin or 5-pin micro-optical switches. Now replacing the switches is a relatively easy affair, where to gain access to the innards of the mouse, all you've got to do is to remove these 2 screw covers on the base, like so. Once they're out of the way, simply undo the screws. And with a bit of elbow grease, the cover comes off like so. You can then use the included switch removal tool to remove the switches. Simply position the tool around the switch and pull up and away from the mouse, like so. With the old switch out of the way, simply place the replacement switch in position and press down. And you're done. Quite a straightforward process, I must say. Whilst you're on the topic of mouse switches, ASUS has included a pair of spare Omron D2F01F switches with the mouse, which is a really nice touch. All in all, being able to replace the mouse switches on your own sure gives end users more freedom in customizing the mouse to their own needs or to replace faulty switches where necessary. Onto the usage experience with the mouse. I played several rounds of Fortnite with it, and as a gamer who uses more of a claw grip while gaming, I found the mouse comfortable to use, especially with the grooves on the side, which I found to be well placed and afforded additional grip. Given that the Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint is a pretty tall mouse with a high hump, I'd say that the mouse should be comfortable to use for folks that use a palm grip as well. Using a woven mousepad, I found the glide action of the mouse to be pretty smooth and the positioning of the side buttons was just right. That said, I typically game at a DPI setting of between 800 to 1000, so I naturally found the 36,000 DPI setting way too overkill for me. if you'd like to get more granularity on the DPI settings for this mouse, simply head over to the ASUS Armoury Crate software like so, navigate over to Devices, click on the mouse accordingly, and under the Performance tab right here, you'll have full access to the various settings that the Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint comes with. You even get the ability to change the polling rate for the mouse, and under the Calibration tab, the ability to change the lift-off distance for the mouse. You do also get access to some power settings right here, the ability to update the firmware for the mouse, and of course under the Buttons tab, full configurability for the 6 buttons that the mouse comes with. In addition, I really like the inclusion of the dongle adapter, which affords more flexibility in terms of how you'd like to connect the wireless USB dongle to your PC. Simply attach the wireless dongle to the adapter, where you can then attach the dongle to the included USB Type-A to USB Type-C ROG paracord cable, and position the wireless dongle to be as close as possible to where you'll be using the mouse. Best of all is that you can secure the dongle adapter to the edge of your mousepad using the built-in clip right here. In doing so, this definitely helps with keeping your desktop neat while ensuring that the wireless dongle doesn't move around, especially during gameplay. All in all, I really enjoyed using the ASUS ROG Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint gaming mouse. As someone who uses a claw grip while gaming, I appreciated the asymmetrical shape and ergonomics that made for a comfortable usage experience, be it for gaming or normal day-to-day use. Battery life seems to be pretty decent as well. On a full charge after around 7 hours of daily usage for gaming and work, on the 2.4 GHz wireless connection mode and with the RGB lighting switched on, the mouse still had 57% of charge left after a week of use. I also like the fact that the mouse comes with user-replaceable switches, as well as an extensive set of accessories such as spare switches, grip tapes, and so on. It's a pity though that ASUS isn't the first brand that comes to mind when it comes to gaming peripherals, where you've got the likes of Logitech and Razer being the dominant brands for input devices. In view of this, I think the price for this mouse is kind of steep, where it has a MSRP of 189 Singapore dollars, placing it firmly in high-end gaming mouse territory, up against compelling products of a similar shape such as the Razer DeathAdder V2 Pro or even the V3 Pro for that matter. That said, the ROG Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint is still a solid product, especially with its industry-leading 36,000 dpi optical sensor. If you're in the mood for something alternative for your gaming mouse purchase, the Gladius 3 wireless aimpoint could well fit the bill. With that, thank you so much for watching, hit the like button and get subscribed if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys around the next time.